I just pray. I don't never want to let nobody ever feel this type of pain.
Family and friends united by pain, gathering to grieve the loss of 20-year-old Kania Brunson.
It's terrible that we have to do this. I would have never thought that I would be burying my daughter before she buries me.
Brunson's parents say she could light up a room with her smile. She loved helping others. Her father tells me she just signed up for CNA classes.
She wanted everybody to stay close and wanted a lot of things out of life. She was going for it.
Dreams cut short. Police say Brunson, the victim of a homicide. Police say they found her body near North Palmer. Her father tells me her abandoned car was found about a mile away from here. Here, where police made the discovery. A week later, all that remains flowers left by a stranger to Brunson.
It's just terrible that someone could go through that, and then to know that they probably went through it by themselves and not had me or her brother or my husband or anyone that she knew that could be there, you know, at a time like this.
So I wasn't going to stop until I find out who did this to my daughter.
At just 20 years old, Kania Brunson's life intersected with a dangerous secret that would change everything. What began as a promising path toward independence and a brighter future ended in a shocking chain of events involving hidden relationships, betrayal, and violence. A married man stood at the center of it all, concealing truths that would ultimately unravel in the most devastating way. How did trust turn into a trap? What warning signs went unnoticed? And how did investigators piece together the chilling details that brought justice to light? If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? And what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Uncovered, where we examine the cases that shake communities and expose what happens behind closed doors. Real stories, real people, real impact. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Kania Brunson was a 20-year-old woman living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, raised in a family that described her as determined and ambitious. She had recently reached a point in life where independence and future planning were her main priorities. She had close ties with her relatives, who often spoke about her drive to achieve stability and create a secure life. At age 20, her goals centered on building a career and furthering her education. Friends and relatives noted that she often discussed her aspirations, focusing on financial independence and personal growth. Her plans represented the type of transition many young adults face, balancing relationships while working toward long-term stability. Those who knew her described her as active in her community and engaged with her peers. She maintained friendships that reflected her social nature, and she was seen as approachable and trusting. This reputation for openness made her well-liked, but also placed her in situations where others could exploit her trust. What made her vulnerable to the person she trusted? The man at the center of this case was older than Kania and already married. His background included a family structure he was actively maintaining, while concealing another life outside his marriage. Outwardly, he appeared to fulfill his role as a husband, but beneath that surface, he was involved in secret interactions. His marital status formed the foundation of his double life. He presented himself differently depending on the audience, to his wife as a committed partner and to Kania as someone offering attention and connection. This concealment required constant manipulation of time, communication, and excuses. He came into contact with Kania through social circles that allowed him to appear trustworthy. His approach was careful, relying on half-truths and omissions to gain her confidence. By limiting how much of his real life he revealed, he created a controlled narrative for her. From his wife, he hid the entire relationship. From Kania, he hid the extent of his marriage and family responsibilities. This dual secrecy allowed him to continue in both worlds without immediate exposure. What was he hiding, and why was Kania drawn into his deception? The relationship between Kania and the married man began quietly and progressed in stages. It is believed their involvement started months before the eventual tragedy. Their meetings were arranged privately, often outside the view of others. Kania placed trust in him, accepting the version of reality he presented. This trust extended to repeated communication, including phone calls, text messages, and secret meetups. These interactions left digital traces later critical to the investigation. Evidence of secrecy was clear. Their exchanges were conducted away from his family, and his efforts to keep the relationship hidden were consistent. The fact that communication had to remain private was itself a warning sign, though Kania appeared to overlook or minimize it. Possible conflicts likely surfaced as inconsistencies became harder to ignore. Questions about availability, truthfulness, and his behavior may have arisen. Still, the relationship continued until tensions escalated. At what point did this secret relationship turn dangerous? Events leading up to the crime suggest the relationship grew strained. Pressure from his personal life may have increased, with the risk of exposure rising. Arguments or threats may have occurred when Kania began realizing the full extent of his deceit. The married man's life appeared to be unraveling under the weight of two competing realities. Maintaining his marriage while engaging with Kania was unsustainable, and conflicts likely intensified as she questioned his honesty. His wife and family, though not directly involved, were part of the tension. The possibility that Kania might reveal the truth threatened his stability and image. What pushed the situation past the point of no return? On the day of the incident, Kania's final hours unfolded in a sequence investigators later pieced together. She had communication with the married man and eventually met him. This encounter placed her in direct danger. Her last known movements were tracked through calls and messages, which showed she was in contact with him. Evidence indicates she willingly entered his presence, unaware of the fatal outcome awaiting her. The sequence of actions led directly to her death. The exact details revealed in court showed the planned or spontaneous nature of the violence. What clues were left behind that revealed the truth? Kania's disappearance and death shocked her family and community. Initially, questions centered on her sudden absence and the circumstances leading to it. Her family was the first to raise alarms, demanding answers. The discovery of her death created an immediate wave of concern in Milwaukee. Local media covered the story extensively, asking how a 20-year-old's life ended so abruptly. Early suspicions pointed toward those closest to her, and attention quickly shifted to man she trusted. How did investigators connect the crime back to the man she trusted? Police began their investigation by reviewing digital evidence. Kania's phone records, text messages, and call logs placed a married man in direct connection with her during the critical time frame. Eyewitness accounts and surveillance also helped trace her final movements. Forensic findings supported the conclusion that she had been with him shortly before her death. Conflicting statements emerged. He denied or minimized his involvement, but inconsistencies exposed the falsehoods. The breakthrough came when physical and digital evidence aligned, eliminating alternative suspects. What piece of evidence finally exposed the secret? Following the evidence trail, police arrested the married man. He faced charges that reflected the severity of the crime, including homicide. Court filings detailed the extent of the hidden relationship and the deception he maintained. The community reacted strongly to his arrest. The revelation that a married man had lived a double life while committing such a crime created widespread discussion. Defense attempts were made to reduce accountability, including questioning evidence and suggesting alternative explanations. Would justice be delayed, or would the truth come out quickly? The trial presented both sides of the case. Prosecutors highlighted the timeline of events, showing the relationship to conflict and the final encounter leading to death. Witnesses testified to Kania's involvement with him, and digital records corroborated the sequence. The defense attempted to shift blame or create doubt. Denials and alternative theories were presented, but the consistency of evidence was difficult to dismiss. Key testimonies from investigators and forensic experts shaped the jury's understanding. Media coverage emphasized the secretive nature of the case, keeping public attention high. Would the jury see through the lies to deliver justice? The jury delivered a guilty verdict, confirming his role in the crime. Sentencing followed, with the judge addressing the severity of betraying trust and causing the loss of life. The punishment reflected the gravity of the crime, though public debate continued about whether it was sufficient. Kania's family received the outcome as confirmation of guilt, though it did not erase their loss. Did the punishment fit the crime, and does justice truly heal? The impact on Kania's family remained permanent. Her friends and relatives carried forward her memory while reflecting on the dangers of hidden relationships. The community discussed issues of secrecy, toxic partnerships, and domestic violence. Her case became a reference point in conversations about safety, trust, and awareness. On social media, hashtags and tributes kept her story alive, ensuring it was not forgotten. What can society learn from Kania's case to prevent future tragedies? How many stories like Kania's remain untold, waiting to be uncovered before it's too late? If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.